What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path Viable build on Warframe. This is going to be for Titania Prime. Let's get into this. Right, so Titania Prime is one of my all-time favourite Warframes. I've recently just rebuilt her, because my old build is not as good now because of quite a few updates since then. I think the last build I did was like 2023. But let's jump straight into the build. So, for Titania herself, we've got Aerodynamic as the aura. Squad takes 24% reduced damage while airborne and gains +6 aim, glide / wall latch duration. In the Excellent sub, we've got Aviator, reduced damage by 40% whilst airborne, which is very important for Titania. We've got Vitality for 100% health. Blind Rage for 99% ability strength and negative 55% ability efficiency. Prime Flow for 185% energy max. Transient Fortitude for 55% ability strength and negative 27.5 ability duration. We've got Narrow Minded for plus 99% ability duration and negative 66% ability range. Range doesn't really matter for Titania, so you don't need to worry about it too much. Fleeting Expertise for 60% ability efficiency and negative 60% ability duration. Equilibrium for health pickups give 110% energy and energy pickups give 110% health, which is quite important for her because you still need a way to get energy. And Streamline for 30% ability efficiency. In the Arcane slots, I've got Rank 2 Arcane Energize, so this gives a 60% chance to replenish 75 energy to self and allies within 15 meters on energy pickup. An Arcane Battery for gain 0.03 maximum energy per armor point up to 1000 energy. That gives us a bit of extra energy for Titania, taking it to 796 with this build. Then, if we quickly look into her Dex Pixia Prime, which is the primary weapon you're going to be using for her, we've got Hornet Strike for 220% damage. We've got Galvanized Diffusion for 110% multi-shot on kill plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. We've got Lethal Torrent for 60% fire rate and 60% multi-shot. Accelerated Isotope for 60% radiation and 40% fire rate. We've got Galvanized Shot for 80% status chance and on kill plus 40% direct damage per status type effect in the target for 14 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Pistol Pestilence for 60% toxin and 60% status chance. Frostbite for 60% cold and 60% status chance. And Scorch for 60% heat and 60% status chance. And in the Arcane slot, we're running Cascadia Flare. Rank 5 on heat status effect. 12% damage for 10 seconds, stacks up to 480%. So we're running a primarily status build on her with 90% status, running Viral to cut through health, Heat to help cut through armor, and Radiation to help turn enemies on each other, not to mention it also deals extra damage to Sentient, and because of Galvanized Shot, we're dealing a lot of status damage. And then for Diwata Prime, which you can use, but it's not really that good, you've got Razorwing, so that's the stance for it. Prime Pressure Point for 165% melee damage, Blood Rush for 40% critical chance and stacks with combat multiplier, Galvanized Reflex for 50% heavy attack efficiency and on melee kill plus 20% initial combo for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. Galvanized Steel for 110% critical chance and on melee kill plus 30% critical damage for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. Berserker Fury for on melee kill plus 35% attack speed for 10 seconds, stacks up to 2 times. Fever Strike for 90% toxin. Vicious Frost for 60% cold and 60% status chance, and Volcanic Edge for 60% heat and 60% status chance. So you're dealing viral and heat on this, but again, we're not really going to be using it that much. Oh, and the Arcane on this is melee exposure, so if we go to that quickly. On ability cascade, 60% corrosive damage on melee strikes for 25 seconds, stacks up to 240%. So it gives you a bit more on the corrosive. But again, Diwata's not even that good. I didn't even put a proper build on that, to be fair. So we're going to primarily be using Dex Pixia, but that's the build I've got on Diwata. So, oh, quickly as well, before we jump into the mission, I did subsume Nourish onto her as well. So that's, the self-heal's removed, but enemies that attack or attack suffer viral damage up to 1 stack, and energy sources provide more energy. These buffs extend to squad mates, so it gives you a bit more energy regeneration as well as a bit more viral. So let's jump into this. Alright, so as per usual, we're here at Oxsmoker in the Void, and I'll quickly explain why we're here. So the Void is one of the latest game areas in the game, not to mention whilst you're here, you're dealing with the Corrupted, and with the Corrupted, you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with high armor, giving you a more varied example of what your weapon / Warframe can do. I'm just grabbing a bit of energy before we start. So actually, before I cast that, I'm going to cast Nourish, and then cast this, which is then going to give us a bit of a head start when it comes to our damage. But as you can see, we instantly start ripping through everything. The Razor Flies also do quite a lot of damage as well. I'm going to move out of range of that crap. But thanks to the mod setup, Titania is extremely survivable because she doesn't take as much damage thanks to having Aviator on. Not to mention the aura mod we use allows her to stay alive quite well. Now, one thing I love about Titania is taking her into the circuit, because the circuit, she's basically useful for pretty much everything, but also for stuff like Void Flood. She can move about so fast. And of course, I get an Argon Crystal when I don't currently need it. But as per usual, stay in the mission long enough to get to the Acolyte, and my controller just is spazzing. Controller. Thank you. My controller's spazzed. Don't know what happened there, but sure. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just keep firing. I just unplugged the controller. It's an official controller. I don't understand what's going on. It's just charging, but okay. But as you can see, even Xmas don't really stand much of a chance because they just get instantly wrecked by the status chance of the weapon. And like I said, you can use Diwata. It's not the worst weapon in the world, but it's also not the best. But most people that use Titania basically just want to use her guns anyway. Like want to use Dex Pixia, which I prefer. But this is a build you can definitely use. It's just not that ideal. But back to Pixia. So the cool thing is that I used to run this as a crit build, because before you could equip on, because ages ago you couldn't do Arcanes onto Pixia. But thanks to the mods Arcanes were running as well, we're not really running out of energy. We're constantly getting it. As long as you take out enemies, you're going to get energy back. Which is more than ideal. Now hopefully it doesn't take long for the Acolyte to spawn. But there's also not a ton of enemies needed for this mission, so that's a bit sad. Now, of course, anytime you want the Nourish boost to come out, activate Nourish, go back into this. Of course, you might want to do it at a time when you're not going to get ganked by enemies, because you will take a bunch of damage. So now I'm just going to have to keep taking out enemies until the Acolyte wants to spawn, because we're technically done with the mission. Another cool thing with this is, like, stuff like nullifiers are no problem, because you just melt through their shields. And as you can see, fairly simple. But we're just going to keep mashing through enemies. But I love Titania. She's such a fun Warframe to play, because you don't need to worry about being a weaponsmith at all, because she has her own weapons. You just use what she's got. And you can just go through everything pretty much absolutely fine. Even the Razor Flies just do damage. Like, they just sit there and melt through everything. So I'm just going to go ahead, keep melting enemies. And hope that an Acolyte spawns, because I need an Acolyte to spawn so you guys can see what this does to Acolytes. Really need an Acolyte. Come on, game. Game, don't starve me with an Acolyte here. I kind of need one.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Huh? Oh, there. Wondered where he went to. Come on, game. Well, this is lame. I've got no enemies left to take out. Kraken takes him out. Well, if the Acolyte does spawn, this is not going to be the optimal way to take it out, because I don't have any more enemies. Oh, wait. Now we do. Let's go. There we go. Okay. Nearly got starved of an Acolyte, because the mission wasn't very long, but we've got enough of a boost. This is not the most optimal way, but we'll take it. Right, quickly activate Nourish. Go back into flight. And as you can see, we are slowly taking him out. Oh my god, stop warping. Dude, stop warping. Lame. Why did it have to be Torment? He's like the worst one I could have got. Oh my god. Oh no, don't warp me to you. Really wish he'd stop warping around. But as you can see, when you can actually get your shots on him when he's not warping, you do eat through his health pretty darn fast. There we go. Stupid Acolyte. Right, but let me know what you think about the Titania build in the comments down below. Don't forget you can support the channel completely for free just by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch at the same time. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feed, some more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, feel free to join me on Twitch. The link is in the description below. And don't forget you can also join our group Discord where you get updates about videos, streams, and everything else. And you can chat with me personally. That link is in the description below as well.